Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can use RxJava using the retrofit. Also, I'm going to show you the list on a recycler view while making the API call. So let's start with adding the dependencies. So go to File, Project Structure, and click on this plus sign. And we need to add some dependencies like RecyclerView. So let's add this. We need retrofit, so let's add this retrofit2. With retrofit we need the converter, so let's add that as well. We need glide because we are going to make the API call and display the image. And we need the view model, so let's add the lifecycle extension. It's extensions. Yep. And we need the Rx adapter, so let's add this one. Let's sync our project, and we need few more dependencies which we can't from there, so I'm directly adding in the Gradle file. This is for RxJava and Rx Android. Let's sync our project now. And since we are going to use the view model, so let's add the compatibility source. So we need source compatibility, and then we'll need the target compatibility. Let our project to be synced now. Now this is the URL which we are going to hit through the retrofit. So let's start with adding some packages. One package for the keeping the network related classes. Inside it I am creating one Kotlin class that is for our retro instance, and another class for retro service that is actually the interface, and one model class like the data class. So this API is the books related, so I'm giving it a name as the book list model. Let's write the code for our retrofit inside our retro instance. So this class will return us the retro instance. So base URL we have as I show you. So let's copy it. The same URL we are going to use, but we need some part in the service class. So let's keep it aside. I'm creating a function which is going to return the retrofit instance. So we always use a converter factory for the JSON, but additionally we need to use this factory for RxJava. So this is the only change here we have for RxJava. So this is mandatory step, so don't forget to add this. Now let's go to our service interface, and here we need to create a separate function with the get. So that API is the get, so we are going to use HTTP method as a get. Give it any name, it's up to you. And this function is going to take input from the user as the query. So query is like I'm going to add a text, edit text where user can enter any book name and it can be searched and displayed on the recycler view. So this query will come from the UI. And this is the most important. When we are using just retrofit, we were calling call, and this is the data class here which we are going to use in our service. Here we need to use observable instead of call. So just keep it in mind, if you are using RxJava, then use observable and instead of call, but make sure you do not call from the util class. Make sure to call from RxJava one. So if you call the java.util package, then you will see the error. And this volume need to be as a parameter which you are going to pass from query. Now let's write the data class. So let's see what we have in our API. So it have array of items. There you go. And inside volume, and inside we have description, title, publisher, and this is the image URL. So first of all we need array of items, so array list of items. So what kind of array list will holding? So it is the volume. Let's create another data class. And this volume info is a separate class which is going to hold some book info object. So let's create book info as well now. And book info is going to hold title as a string type, second publisher, so string type same, another is the description, and next parameter we need for image. So since it is the separate object, so we need another data class for images URL only. and it has two parameters. Just copy that value. Small thumbnail, we are just going to use a small thumbnail. So that's it for these network classes. Let's create a separate package for our view model. So this is the MVVM approach, and we need to create a separate view model for our activity. So I'm keeping in the separate package itself. So let's implement this view model. So this view model is going to have one book list live data. So that is going to be the mutable live data. And this is going to be our model type. Now I need to initialize it simply. I'm creating a separate function which is going to return this book list observable, and just to update the recycler view in our activity. So we are going to use this in our activity. Now I'm creating a separate function to make the API call through the retrofit using RxJava. And we need to take the input from the user, like the book name what they are searching. So let's take it from the activity and pass it to our API. And now this is the part where we are going to, this is the only change where we are going to use for RxJava. So we need to subscribe on and use subscribers. Make sure this small spelling mistake can lead to be a compile time error. So make sure it should be subscriber.io. And now observer, and here we need to pass the main thread. Now subscribe. And now we need to write another function, which function we are going to use. So we need to pass this function inside the subscribe, where we need to keep observing the few methods. So I'm giving it a any name. and it is going to return the observer of type book list model. And we need to override these four functions: on complete, on error, on next, on subscribe, and then pass this function in the subscribe. And now when we got the data on error, then we need to inform our activity. So simply pass it null because we see the error while making the API. And on next function, if we see that is the success, and it is going to return the book list model. Simply pass it. On complete is I'm not going to implement it. This is usually used to close the progress indicator if you have any, and similarly on subscribe, this function is used to start the progress bar or progress indicator if you have any. Since I'm not having, so I'm not implementing those two. Yeah, I think we are done with our implementation for our view model. We need to call this function, and let's make this function as a private because we are not going to call. We are going to call just make API call function from our activity. So let's go back and implement our activity. First thing we always do, like a UI. So I'm just adding edit text on top so that user can enter a book name, and we can make the API call with that query parameter and get the list of books. And under that I'll be adding a recycler view. As I said, like we are going to display book list on the recycler view. Now we are done with our layout file. So let's initialize our activity now. So we need to initialize our recycler view. Now write a function for it, the same function. I have already shown you in so many videos how what exactly steps we need to do. So we need to add a linear layout manager. We need to add an item decoration for the separator to display a line, and then we need to set the adapter. So all the three steps we are going to implement here. And now we need an adapter, but we haven't created any adapter, so we need to create an adapter as well. Before we create an adapter, let's initialize our edit text, where user is going to enter the book name. So I'm giving this function name as the initialize search box. So that is the edit text. So let's initialize it as well. And I'm adding it on a text watcher on the uh, text change listener, so that if user is entering any character, we make the API call. So this is usually we do when we implement any kind of search. So inside on text change, we simply make the API call, whatever text user has entered. So I'm giving it as a name the load API data as a separate function. From here, we will simply initialize our view model, and we'll call the make API call function from the view model. Now we need to set the observer on our view model. So get book list observer dot observe, and it is going to return the uh, array list of book list model. Yeah, it is going to return just the object of book list model, and that inside will contains the array list of volume info. So in case we'll check if book list model is not equal to null, then we'll update our adapter, else we'll show a toast message to the user. We can we can show any message, error message. Yeah, so we are, I think, good for this activity. We just need now adapter. So let's create a separate package for our adapter. Inside this, I'm going to create a Kotlin class. It is, and I'm giving it as a name. You can give any name. Yeah, book list adapter suits better. And the how you can create an adapter, I have already shown you in my many videos, so I'm following the same steps here. Only difference is what kind of a data we are receiving here. We need to implement these three functions in RecyclerView adapter. Then we need to create our view holder class, my view holder. I'm doing exactly same what we did in our past video. Here is a book list data, that is array list of volume info object. We can double check. Yes. And as usual, we need to implement these functions. So it is going to return the size of our book list data. Here we need to inflate a layout. So we don't have any layout, so let's create another layout for our recycler view row. So in this we need one image view to show the book image, and then we need a title, we need a publisher, and we need description. So three text view we need here. Layout is pretty easy. You can create your own layout the way you want to show data in your recycler view. So it's totally up to you. We are done with our layout. So now let's pass the layout name. Here we need to get the get our text view and image view. So let's grab those and we'll need to just set the data what we are receiving in volume info object. Let's get those values. So one is title, second one is publisher, and this one is the description. The last one is image view. So book image need to show. We need to get that. Now we just need to set these values, set to the text views text inside the bind function. So whatever we are receiving, we just need to set it. Similarly, we need to set the publisher and description. Now for image view, we need to use glide. So let's implement that. So first of all, we need to grab the URL, which we need to which will be responsible for getting the image. I think that's it for our RecyclerView adapter. And now let's create an instance of our adapter in our activity. we need to initialize this adapter in our init RecyclerView function. And we now set our adapter to our recycler view. If you want to implement click listener, then I have already video for that available on my channel, so you can take the reference from there. And once we got the data, then we need to set our adapter. So what list we received, now we are setting it to our adapter. Okay, this is, we need to change it to the where instead of val. Items. And now we need to call notify dataset change function of our adapter, so that list get refresh. Now most important part, since we are going to make the API call, so we need to add the internet permission in our manifest file. So don't forget this. And we are, I think, good for now. Yeah, we are not passing the query parameter, so let's pass the query parameter, and we need to pass this to the API. Viewmodel.make API call and pass the input parameter. There you go. So now our adapter is ready. Let's run our application and see. Let's give a name. We are able to run successfully. Okay, so description, that's great. Description is so big and it's grabbing whole screen, so I think we made some mistake in our layout. Let's check it. Description, it's too big, so I'm limiting it to the 3 lines, and the height is match parent. Instead we need to give the wrap content. Let's run it again and see. Giving a name jungle, so we can see now that that's great, but still I can't see the images. Let's see what kind of error we are getting. Okay, yeah, I got it. So we need to go to our Android manifest file, and you need to add one line here, that is Android colon this one. Use clear text, and now let's run it and see. There you go. So you can see the images as well now. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let me give some another name. New York. Yeah, so we can see as soon as we are entering it, making the API call and getting the list and updating the recycler. So guys, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment and share. Thank you.